see how this works. Screen. There we go. All right. Look live. Ugh. I think I'm multi-streaming. I think I am. Twitch requires additional permission to send messages. What? Blah, 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 blah. What happens? I double check. Oh my God, it looks like it's working. All right. More red. That's what we are up to. Painting, 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 painting. I wonder how many of these guys I got left just to do this red base coat business. Oh, Mephiston Red, you are good stuff. What else do I need? Grab some isopropyl just to keep my brushes relatively clean. And we'll just get down to it. I gotta remember that my camera's over there now. I moved it up a little bit. Exciting stuff. Alrighty. The man himself. And what I'm doing here is just getting in here and getting the real core of the base coats of red on here. Trying to avoid as much of what will be black as possible. It's a very cool model. He's a little jacked up though. Like, I think this one is actually a like third-party reprint, recasting. I think so. I don't remember if this is legit or not. He comes in and out of favor on the Warhammer store, so it could be a little tough to find when you need him. But at the very least, he's got like all the Forge Worldy vibe to him, where like the parts aren't quite clean. You end up cleaning them a bunch. You gotta be super careful that you're not removing important parts. Hey, what's up, folks? I think, in theory, I've got multi-streaming working, which means I might be somewhat resurrecting my old YouTube channel in the process here. I've gotten it working once for my game dev stuff through a different service. Hiding in your basement? You got storm business coming? What's up? Hiding from bad people? Tornado warnings. Yeah, there you go. Definitely, I mean, we do get tornadoes up here. We don't get like super serious ones yet. But I've definitely done the basement run for hurricanes. Faux show. Scary stuff. Well, kick back, relax. I hope you get completely avoided by all the twisty stuff. That's no bueno. I gotta be careful when I spin this thing around. I don't want to drive into this pillar here. I might get a smaller brush for some of these details. This one does come to a nice point, but maybe I just gotta take my time. Not near you yet. Well, thankfully tornadoes move really, really quick, so It's good and smart of you to just basement up before you find out that you should have 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah, that skull's gonna be a little bit of a pain. I'm gonna not worry too much about him. If I bonk him with a little bit of red, that's fine because he's gonna get gone over with a pretty thick coat of something. Probably gold, but it'll be something that can cover just about anything. I gotta move my chat window, or rather the screen that it's on. Got this monitor way out of the way. Before, it's my Cintiq, and I was doodling, drawing dirt, as one does. And I was like, "You gotta move." And I just sent it all the way back. That's much better. Now I can just glance up. Get this kneecap. Spin him this way. Your hand doesn't hit the post, does it? Nah, it doesn't. Good. Yeah. Find a good angle. I think I'm going to hit all these red sections with, what is it, Berserker Bloodshade as well. I think I will. I'll probably thin it out quite a bit, because it doesn't need to be super thick on there, but just to get a little bit of texture up against all this busted up trim that he's got. It's a good call. I mean, he's just all kinds of chopped up crazy. I don't think he's got a single plate on him that doesn't have like huge shreds and gashes in it and bits of stuff sticking out. You just got to be careful. I also got to remember to, he's got a little buddy. Can't remember that guy's name. Little warp demon guy. I got to dig him up too. Hopefully I didn't lose him. He has a little token that runs around with him. I think you can. I don't even remember what you burn it for, but once per battle kind of ability. Oh my god, this thing is so beat up. By this thing, I mean Huron himself. He's got pretty interesting backstory that I'm only lightly familiar with. Actually, I'm going to fill a little bit more of that in. There we go. All I know is that in the modern era, his ass is pretty beat. At one point, when I believe medics from the Night Lords come and fix him up, he's like always in a perpetual state of ricketiness. Oh, see, gotta be careful with that axe. But he is a big deal. You gotta sort of pay homage to the guy if you're cruising around. I want to say that we come back and do like another couple passes on some of these, but I think it's probably mostly going to be for Huron himself. Everybody else can just kind of chill out. We're going to have to see how it looks after I put a wash on them. In fact, I may want to experiment with that tonight on one of the ones that's pretty redded up. When I say one of the ones, he's got legionaries that he's going to roll with. They're all red corsairs. They're all of them except, I think, the champ or boss version, chainsword and pistol. Very intentional. A couple of reasons. I try to keep my option set somewhat minimized a little bit here and there when I can when I'm playing on the tabletop. So sometimes I put units together with like a very, very specific thing in mind. So it doesn't take 48 days for me to like get through all their rolls. Even if that means that they're not necessarily like damage optimized perfectly. And these guys are going to basically just be all about objective take and hold under fire. And for that, one, thematically, it's kind of cool if they're all like chainsword pirates, which is kind of dope. But two, it just allows me to like easily remember their purpose, not skip over anything that they might have as like a rule to pay attention to. And also, like I do have units that are complex. By having some that aren't, it's just like, all right, I can set them to the task. I don't slow my whole turn down. I don't hit option paralysis. Just like I can make some calls, do some things, and like focus my mental energy on the units that are complex. There's more of his power pack that needs a little scooping. I'll do a few more little bits on here, and then I got to get his other. I think I got to get both of his elbows. We'll grab one of the other guys that's already got a coat on him. See how he looks with a bit of Berserker Bloodshade. There's the sneaky part. Definitely needs more red. Not exactly sure precisely what little spots are going to get it, but and obviously I've got the butt plates. But his armor is so jacked that I think it's just going to be like a lot of tiny little spots where there's still painted lacquered armor. The rest is just going to be like machinery sticking out. He's definitely got like the Darth Vader vibe to him. He's like partially held together just by rage. I will get his boots too. He got boots. No, he's got more stuff. He's got gloves and he's got bracers. Still though. Just gonna click a couple things. Maybe quick sip of coffee. Thumb. Scoot his little buddy aside. Get these digits. Nice thing about black and red, they transition into each other pretty nicely with a wash, with dark wash. Obviously, they're like very contrasty right next to each other. But, I mean, red is not super bright on its own, spectrum wise, which is good. My hope is that the wash is what's going to really tie the room together. The thing I got to be careful of is Might make sense for me to actually wash the metallics on this too. In which case, it'd be really nice if I've just got my red down, I've avoided enough of the black, I put in, I guess, gold for a bunch of metallics, and all I gotta do is just like wash across the whole thing. We'll see how that goes. That may just be wishful thinking. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. All right, he's still got plenty of power pack double tank goodness to catch up to. What's up, homie? It's been a bit. How are you? Stroke by stroke. I ain't no joke. Size of this thing. Base coating. Army painter. I haven't used this yet. Bust out a new brush. Why not? Huron's your boy. You are pretty. It's like you don't have to ask to be told that. You're lovely. I say that with ease. How you been, bud? Thin my paints a little bit. Put some music on, I think. Or should I? I am technically going to the YouTubes right now. So maybe I don't want to put some background music in. I want to get dinged over there. I should figure out how to not send music to a recording if possible, but that's an adventure for another day. Huron likes red. Red everywhere. Almost everywhere? No, I'm not going to sing. Freestyle rap. Of course, this guy may need 2 coats. That's cool. You get what you need, buddy. Squiggle a little in there. This brush is a little big. Just the dark side of mini painting. Is there a dark side? I mean, I suppose if you like destroy your whole life and family over it, that's probably the dark side. I don't know, maybe. Maybe you just like, I don't know if it has a dark side. I don't know. I'm a big chaos dude, so like, I don't really see a dark side in it. Just a good time. Just hanging. Nothing to worry about. Got my 4-year-old starting to paint. Just sweet. Just looking for a box of Marines in a dark alley. I didn't even need the whole model. Just give me the power packs, man. Just give me the power packs. I just need something to paint. I got 4 spray cans of Ultramarine Blue. Or what was it called? McCrag Blue? What was the Games Workshop blue for them? McCrag Blue. I got 4 spray cans of it. I need to spray something. I need to prime. I should get his little booties. Booty, booty, booty. Oh, Huron, you're such a goon. There we go. Get the back of this boot. He should be nearly sorted out. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to put any red on his axe. It's all going to be like metallic stuff and I don't know, something clothy for the wrap on there. Maybe leather. In short, I'm going to swiftly run out of spots that need red on this guy so he can just dry up. For all I care. There's little bits on the shoulders. Zoop. Those aren't hard to get to. Zoop. Dane, I figured out how to cross screen. Lo and behold, you just do both at the same time now. Huron was done. Now I need one for myself. So Dane, the first model I painted for someone else and shipped out was a Huron for Dane. Fitting that you're back, my friend. And that I'm back to be back. So that's a little piece of 0 to 40K history. Hey, what's up, Sharp? Good to see you. Oh, it's nice. I mean, that's the thing is that I started out on YouTube and then I switched to Twitch because it's just a little friendlier to like newer streamers or people that aren't ever really going to scale up like crazy. And I lost some of the folks that I had before, but now I'm back. Now I tried it actually a while ago. It just did not work out with the system that I had, or I don't know, or even Streamlabs was just mucho no bueno with it. But I got it working. I gave it another try for my other streaming thing, which is video game stuff. I got it to work there, and I was like, let's go back and give it a try on the 0 to 40K side. Lo and behold, not too shabby. So hopefully this will just be how I do it going forward. It's all good, man. It's also like, it's always super late for you, but I do appreciate you dropping in. And yeah, I'm basically going to push the button this way from here on out, so you should be able to catch me again in the future. What did I say I was going to try out? Oh, yeah, I was going to try washing one of these guys. See how that looks. Up against not only the red, but the black. Huron and 10 red Corsairs. I'll just keep painting this guy because I'm here. Very undecided on which brush I want to use. Important business. Hey, Tank. How's it going, buddy? We'll do, Dane. We'll do. This guy's helm is interesting. It's going crazy wind and hailstorm today. It's a weather day for a lot of folks. Some gutter damage to gutters on my garage. Yee. I not to flex. I had a tree come down the other week. Insurance guy came out, inspected. I probably said this last time, but it's I don't know. I'm a boring old man. I'm getting a new roof on my garage and on my barn from insurance, which is huge because they were super old. Gutters are a pain though, man. I mean, you can kind of bend them around a little bit, but they don't really like cope with a lot of flexing on um, all that well. If you bend them too much, then they stop guttering. But yeah, weather's been nuts the last couple of weeks, and like tonight, you got people on tornado watch. It rains, it pours. I think this is going to be the way to go. Is just thin this stuff out and just drip it in there a wee bit. Spots where it needs it. Can't go too thin though. Like on the gorget or neck piece thing, it's a little thin, and it shows. Saving grace is a lot of this. Be metallic also. Go over it with that coat and it'll clean things up a bit. I'm not going to sit here. I mean, I'm doing 10 of these guys plus Huron. Like, I'm not going to weep over every millimeter of space. I'm going to be real careful, but also very realistic. This guy's going to look good in combination. It'll look good solo too, but these are not going to be like award winning models. These are going to be guys that take an objective and sit on it and get shot out like crazy and fire back and return and chainsword a lot. Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. I'm definitely of like the school of thought that like you just gotta listen to yourself, and if you're not feeling it for a while, like that's fine. But it does suck when you're not painting. Like it really just genuinely does. Like you're like, oh, I'm not making any progress. I took a decent chunk of time off, and like part of me inherently wants to feel bad about it, but like the older and hopefully wiser I get, it's like, you know what, I probably just needed a break. Like I try to take decent care of myself. A lot of times you don't want to let yourself totally just go off the rails, but like if you're vigilant about it, taking time off from stuff is good. And also sucks. If like if you are concerned of getting off the train too permanently, then sometimes you gotta force yourself back on. But like the older I get, the more I realize that I really do like operate in cycles. The energy I have to commit to certain things is limited. And sometimes I'm just kind of frumpy. And all those things can kind of just coexist. It's fine. Nothing like a red gun. Chain swords and bolt pistols. But yeah, I think the main thing for me now is I'm just like gonna paint. I'm just gonna back to my roots and just sort of take it easy. Just be more about like let's just make some progress. Not worry about anything else. And especially with streaming, it could just be a challenge where you're like, oh, am I even painting anything that's interesting right now? Is anyone even going to care to watch? And you just got to get over that. Just paint. Just paint, 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 paint. You know, buddy. It's on now. I'm returning, Nathan. I'm doing my best, man. It's good to see you, bud. I know, right? It's funny, Badger, because I know that. Um, you just sort of like, you can get sort of in a mode where you overthink it, or I don't even really overthink it myself. It's just like, do I plug this thing in? Yeah, dad life is real, man. Dig it. Good for you. It's so funny, Moth, because like it's like your viewership is dependent on whether or not your job forces you to turn and do your job. It's just I find it very interesting and like super awesome that like you're checking stuff out while you're at work. Um, but like then it's like, oh, I got a customer. I gotta like take a break from what I want to do and help someone else. Pretty funny. Good stuff. You're a dedicated viewer. Hey, what's up, Derek? I'm having a pretty great evening. I feel pretty good. I don't think this skull's going to stay red. It looks kind of corny red. Well, maybe. Everything looks corny red. Boop. Things be good. You're a good employee, Moth. I'm kind of deaf, so I usually turn off whatever's on my phone and talk to it. Yeah, no, that's also. I'm getting used to having someone around with a singular headphone in all the time. My daughter routinely like I'll say something to her, and if I'm on one side of her head, she just won't hear me. I'm like, realized I didn't fill up on coffee before I started the stream, so there may be a break in my future. We'll see. Ah, the things you find. Whoop. I'm not looking forward to that with our oldest. Yeah, it's I don't know. Like the thing that I like, I'll try to keep in perspective and balance. It's I'm actually very lucky to have a stepdaughter because I get to go through stuff like it's a pregame, um, and like kids are really plugged into technology a lot. And I'm not worried about sounding like some crazy old guy who's like, man, my day we just played with a stick. Um, but like it's a different world, and like being plugged in is a thing. I don't know. If she behaves, gets decent grades, and takes the trash out when I ask, not too worried. Sticks were amazing. They were. Stick is a great toy. I just had to trim 12 minis and base coat another 15. You're an absolute animal. You're like the like the triathlete friend who's just like, yeah, that's what I did before I got up in the morning. Like, pfft, crush it. God bless. Yeah, I did a quick jog, you know, 14 miles, took a swim for two, went home, took a shower, went to work. My 4-year-old is sick today, and she spent a lot of time in front of the tube. But she's in that like she's run a fever, but nothing too crazy. Like we got her medicated, keep the fever down. But she's like a little delusional. You know, little kids get when like they get sick and they're just like, and she's old enough now to like understand it, not just like be sick, but the fact that like she's gonna be sick for a while and she knows it now. And she's like, I hate being sick. I'm like, dude, buddy, I don't like it when you're sick either. She's sad. Harsh ad interrupt. Oh, that's one thing I can't see if I've got this thing on. I'm gonna chat, but womp womp. Not that I was ever that good at accommodating that, but now I has an excuse. I think my main thing is I just don't want to be a hypocrite. Like I spend my day in front of a computer. I have to tell you that like even when I'm working, like I'm plugged into being socialized. Like I think there's a ton of people that go to their job and spend most of their day on Facebook and then come home and complain that their kids are looking at screens. And it's like, well, a little hypocritical, at least a little bit. One thing that I attempted to re-sign. Speaking of Facebook, I attempted to re-sign up for Facebook for my business, and I got banned within like the first 20 minutes just for trying to go through their flow to like get ads up and running. I had to like appeal it. I'm like, Facebook, I already don't like you. I was like, oh, you need to make a page for your business. The first step. Yeah, thanks, Zuckerberg. I already dislike Facebook. I already have like some amount of like, do I even want Instagram? Like all I do is very rarely post pictures of models. Most of what I use Instagram for is to just look at other people's models. Um, which is very good for. Because like as soon as you feed that algorithm the fact you're a Warhammer person, it's just a carousel of like really cool paint jobs and people you've never heard of. Um, But still, I'm kind of like, well, it's a meta thing, and I'm a little pissed with how they handle people's data. All right, I'm running this business. I at least need to, like, if I ever want to run Facebook ads for my game, I gotta have an account. So I start one up under my business, and it's like, you need to make a page. What's the name of your page? Optimally, it should be the name of your business. I put the name of my business in. It's like, what do you do? I was like, game publishing. It's like, this violates our terms of service. Something in those two fields, either the name of my company, which is the name of my company, so I can't put something else stupid in there, or the fact that I'm a game publisher violated terms of service. I clicked it a few times because I just didn't get it. And then I went in through like a different angle and tried to just go in straight through like their ad portal. And I was like, yeah, you need to make a page for your business so like you're legitimized. And then I tried it again and it was like, all right, we're tired of you putting there's a space. There's a space. Yeah. I think that's probably still it though. I think you're onto it. Like apparently like there's plenty of people, as far as like filtering anything, they'll like depends on how you code it. It could very intentionally, especially being Facebook, be like, yeah, I'm gonna not worry about spaces in there because it could be someone trying to like leet speak their way through it. And I know goon is like a contentious word, but it's also just a word. So I did like click the button to be like appeal it, but now at this point, like, geez, I really didn't even want. I didn't want to go crawling back to Facebook because now I got to run ads. But like Facebook ads are very efficient um, for reaching the right people for video games, for video game ads, especially ones that are like click through and need to go to Steam. To get dunked on in like the first few minutes was just a classic moment. But I bet you're right, Moth. I bet it is the fact that it's go on. And they're reading that as goon, and now goon's a bad word. Good movie though. Good hockey movie. I do like hench person. What do you do for a living? I hench. Hench for life. Well, you would be one of the most sought after, traded for, drafted hench people of all time. You've got a good way about you, reliability. ability to think outside the box. Yeah, you're just like you're the guy who's like still around in season 8, and then you finally really start to get to know him. He's just like survived every big scheme. Like, oh, this is the one with a brain. Yeah, VPs get shuffled over too. It's like the third in command is like the jam. Like if you can hold that gig, it's a sweet gig. Over there, over here is a little bloop. Right there. Trim, trim. The orbs. It's always the orbs. Good enough for government work. All right, let's set this guy aside. Yeah, like Destro, absolutely fantastic character. This guy's not read enough. I gotta read him up more. I was a huge fan of Destro. Like his whatever his lore was just far more interesting. This guy was wearing a mask. He's an arms dealer. Infinite drip. I rely on you as the like conduit connection to lingo the kids use. And by kids, I think drip is probably people in their like late 20s at this point, but still. Infinite drip. Still though, like trying to explain that term. Picture Destro, not too shabby. I thought they were great in that they they all of them had kind of like their own jam. I mean, obviously you got like Tomax and Zaymot that are like the foil to that of like, well, they're not very independent, but they share wounds. But like Baroness, like your name's just a title. Like, did you have like a hench person named like Deputy Exchequer? But like she had her own thing going too. Everybody did. Is it gonna break my heart? Is it a good picture? Or is it like updated Mickey Mouse kind of vibe? Hang on one second. I'm gonna go get some coffee. I'll be back in like 5. I'll give you some time to dig up that picture. Crack this window a little bit. That's a good sound. What's up, homie? Good to see you. Oh. What? What? Destro's just like big pimpin'. Look at that guy. What a flex. Warning, choking hazard is right. Oh, what an absolute baller. Profit director. I know that first one is this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's make this money. Got your pink boys? Sweet. Got all kinds of like, I'm sure you got all kinds of paint colors that you rarely touch. Just waiting to get used now. Oh, that's good coffee. Got a 6 pack of them just to be safe. You find one of these guys who's decently redded up. I basically just left chunks of all of these guys kind of undone. No, this guy's good. Do a little bit of test here. Paint them barn children. Alright, so Berserker Bloodshade. Just to see how it looks on these guys. Sort of liven things up. 10 plus the boss man. I think I'm actually going to thin this stuff out a little scooch. 10 legionaries plus the boss man, potentially a rhino. Every time I look at that box and I see like the red rhino, I'm like, that does look kind of dope. And these guys are almost certainly just going to be like drive in and become an annoying mob parked on an objective. So I might give them the ride too. The G ride. Oh yeah, no, that's Berserker Bloodshade on this is fucking dope. Question will be, do I end up doing it on the gold that gets on these guys as well? That'll be the big $24 grillion question. Oh yeah, it looks good. That looks good. Now you guys went from red to like super red. I actually don't remember. But I'm guessing it's a third party one. I'm guessing it is. I do not remember at this point. I mean, it is. I think it's a reprint of his actual model. But it's definitely like that Forge Worldy, cripplingly painful sculpt. Yeah. It is not like it is not someone else's interpretation of him. I think it's just a reprint. Like it's cool, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to paint. I do have his little rat pet somewhere, lying around here somewhere. Not unlike Fabulous Bile, who I still got to finish. Um, Fabs has his little hench person. Good job, good job. Circle that back around on the hench person tip. Very nice. But yeah, he's got his little warp buddy, whose name I don't remember. Jeeves. I mean, not unlike, third in line hench person Jam. I think he'd be really good as a radio producer. Like the guy who's in there who tends to know the thing more so than the person doing performing, and who often just like once or twice per show, just from the top rope, just drops something on everyone, but isn't blabbing the entire time. I think you'd rock that out. I'd love nothing more than to produce something. It's a good gig if you can get it. Producer in a lot of different. I mean, it's not obviously not universally good everywhere, but it's a pretty good gig if you're organizationally sound, have thick skin. Not everybody's good at it. Not even everybody. Well, quite often people that do it aren't actually good at it. But I've worked with some really good producers, and I've worked with some pretty terrible ones. Not that they were trying to be terrible, but is that a thing? Gas station strip clubs, like truck stops. If it paid well, I'd work it. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. DJ Moss spinning 70s night, this big night of the week. Hyping up the ladies. Just tell my kids I sell boring adult grown up vitamins. We do, man. Just always be hustling. What's up, Blat Blat? I've been incognito for a bit. I've been away. Found it a little tough to get motivated to just come out and stream, and I've had a lot going on in these hours of the eve. One of my kids has been really needy lately. I've had a lot of game stuff to work on. All right, hombre. We'll see you in a bit. But as Moth pointed out, I think this is my third stream this week. Needed some me time. Moth shows up for my other streams, my video game ones. Thanks, buddy. It's good to be back. Yeah, that looks way better. That's a really nice red that way. A really nice red. Where are those? You discreet bastard. Where the hell are they? Yeah, by discreet, you mean like you fail miserably to market yourself. Let's see how far that goes. Pause that. That's my voice in the background because I'm a goon. 6 followers over here. That's me over there. I'll watch me like completely derail this and go cross promotion. These. Oh yeah, check out my video game that I'm making. Maybe join the Discord and I'm international. Not really. But I got stuff going on. What giveaways do you do? I don't have anything turned on yet. I'm not a big enough deal to really give anything away. There's no channel points there yet. I am starting a channel from scratch. Believe it or not, there is a nascent phase where all you can do is turn on the camera and hope Sectrix shows up with a raid so that you can make your numbers. Try to turn it into something bigger than just use howling at the wind. You having to start points up from scratch. Oh my god, man. Wild. Thanks for the follow, by the way, buddy. Demand justice? Ugh, this day and age? Party one? Sick. Let's do this. It is a party. Rykos, what is up, buddy? How's it going? Thank you for the raid. Painting red, washing red. Oh, you're the sponsor, sort of, the gateway person. Good on you for supporting your friend. The building can be pretty daunting in the beginning. I mean, obviously, some people just loathe it. First 5 Marines are free, kid. Yep. Yep. I think if you can, no matter what, get someone to like that moment where they've got brush in hand and they're able to do some of the stuff that feels good. That's how you get them hooked. It's like the first time they wash something or dry brush something, or they get the details right. Like you get that eagle crest on the front of of a space marine going, and you're like, oh, I think I get it now. Like that first win. Loathe is a pretty. I overuse the word loathe. I'm hyperbolic though. Like I like to mess with language a lot and either drastically over or understate things. I don't do it on purpose, but like after the fact, when you listen to yourself enough, you realize you have these like mannerisms. Like I've used the word fond, which is a pretty mild word for things that like are absolutely like centrally important to me. Yeah, I'm pretty fond of it. Huron, you're so red. Love it. Is it? I'm actually a little surprised. It seemed like, by the looks of it, from not the looks of the box, but the looks of the stuff that they were showing, that it seemed like very. Oh, oh. Like just looking at the models, they look like very specific sculpts without a crazy ton of swappability. But I mean, I guess all of that is under the hood, just in the design of the sculpt, and they are, I mean, essentially the newest sculpts out there. They do keep getting better, not only just in terms of looks in a lot of cases, but ignoring the aesthetics of them, the sort of like smartness of the sculpt can be kind of interesting. All right, now these guys are like mega red, but I can go back to painting. Smoking here. Nicotine. Brush is good. By the way, my kid is here painting with me. Yeah. And you'll join soon. Is she working on typhus? You're gonna be a two typhus household. Sectrix, you're gonna have more typhuses in your home than I will. It makes you a Death Guard guy. Kaijumon. What do you mean she's learning? Just jump right in. Go nuts. Learn by doing. Those are very good goals. Very, very good goals. I also think like what's interesting is that um like as an adult, not great living necessarily run around painting minis. As a kid, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Because like you're not paying rent. Like you're good. You need some going around money and money you can parlay back into your hobby as you like learn to do it better and better. And so as a kid, it's just like it's brilliant because you can like get some models or charge someone to paint some models, then like get some more, and you're just like constantly just honing your craft, getting better and better on someone else's dime. It's pretty schmott. Well, I mean, it's pretty smart. Someone else's dime is someone else's dime. What was much longer than you expected? Went to the kitchen for food, ended up in conversations. Good. You should talk to your family. If I go downstairs at the wrong time, like it's entirely fine for me to just like tell people in my family that I'm streaming. And when I stream, it's like very few people are up. But if I go downstairs during the day while I'm working, like I got to prepare for it being like a half hour before I get back to my desk. Which I actually like. It's kind of nice. It's good living. I have had the unfortunate case of like living with people that I didn't converse with, like didn't even like. That's never fun. As long as you got a home that you're happy to rap with people, in a good spot. No bubbles. My sister's going to be in town next week. We learned to airbrush today. That's a big step. Huge step. Hey, B Brock. Over in YouTube land. Yeah, I finally figured out how to get cross streaming to work, which is not hard. But the last time I experimented with it, it didn't work out so well. That was in my old house, and that was when the technology was a little bit younger. I've been on Twitch, but now that I can just push the button and go both spots, it's good. Breathe some life back into my old YouTube channel that I've completely neglected. For now. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, it's my jam. I just kind of peek stuff. Have a good time. Don't get too stressed about it. Right now, just doing some red Corsairs to add to my slowly growing Chaos Space Marine army. I've got Huron leading them. Very funky sculpt. I'm just putting base coats of red in. And doing a little bit of washing here and there. Get through them. So I got 10 legionaries to do. Not sure if the psi that I put in there was all that necessary. They're coming along. All right, helmet and other side of chest. Yeep. Be careful in there. Most of what's around it is going to get gotten over, and metallics not going to freak. But I also don't want to have to clean up too much. That'll be good. Sneak in, get this gorget. Right his chin a little bit. He's all right. He's all right, buddy. Make sure I have a solid understanding of what this guy's helmet actually does. Yeah, okay, I screwed that up. That's okay. Very reliant on light angle to see where like the super tiny details are. Did, however, get a nap in, so I don't feel totally exhausted. I napped a little long. It was a good one. It's like, you know what? Got a new build up on Steam. I'm gonna rack out for a bit. These are the exciting moments of middle-aged suburban life. Yeah, this is the one guy that's different out of the Legionnaires. He gets a plasma pistol and a fisto. Everybody else in the unit, chainswordist, chainsword wielding pirate. I might make his hair something funky. I'll make his hair white, Korax white. Oh, I gotta get in there. How are we gonna do that? Carefully. Yeah, it looks mediocre. I'll take it. I'll take it. Trim, trim, trim. Boots. Red boots. We're down at the base. Should be a little sloppy off the sides there. I'll probably gold trim those too. They'll look good like that. Thin this out a little bit. Actually, I'm going to clean my brush. Dad taught me the zenithal highlight. That is... Sorry, I missed that spot. A bunch of this text that's in purple. All of it. Zenithal is really fun. One of the things I strangely did not do with these models is actually dry brush them before I got started, which I almost always do. But a lot of times I'll get zenithal done through a dry brushing step, where you're just more aggressive from the top. But it makes a huge difference, and I think one of the most challenging things for me to learn about painting has always been like the model looks different when the paint's not wet anymore, and zenithal is a lot of what contributes to that, because you're just like adding super thin layers of paint. Stuff does shine through, and the stuff that you zenithal, it definitely unless you're like a very heavy-handed painter. And I paint with a lot of paint, but very thin down. So like when the water evaporates out of it, it's very different than it did the night before. Probably should have zenithal these guys. That's life. Airbrushing is fun. I gotta fire mine up again at some point. I've been very airbrush delinquent for like almost the entire time that I've lived here in this house. So, probably 6 or 8 months since I've turned the thing on. I shouldn't say that. When the weather was nice, I was still getting out there um, and doing it, but not much. It's a fun toy. Get closer to these knuckles. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. A couple little spots to hit up here. And this guy could probably take a little breather. There we go. Here's the top. A little bit of the back section of this power pack that is definitely steeped in chaos and probably more ornamental than anything now. Get under his little chinny chin for this gorget a bit. Zoop. Mr. Nurgle, tell my dad that I need to use the good brushes or I will never learn. Ooh. I'm actually a big fan of not great brushes. I've actually upset your father with the low quality of brushes that I have used. I have nice brushes now. But sadly, I am of the school of like, you should probably learn on crappy brushes. But because he's your dad, I can just make fun of him and say he's being cheap in the hopes that he gets you good brushes. But honestly, like, yeah, just make him feel bad. Sectrix, why do you hate your children? Question. You should let your kid just go nuts on 30 poxwalkers. That's like that's the way to learn. Use brushes well past their proper lifespan, doesn't matter. I mean, I keep, you guys have seen there are plenty of brushes that I use that are like, this is its last mission. Like I have used this thing well past its abilities, and like I've like based with it and everything. Now it's like got one last ride where I've got to like squeegee in some like weird glue or something. I think that there is a skill level at which there are things that would be really hard to do without a really nice brush. Um, Used a good one for the thing that I shared. Thing that you shared. Thing that you shared. Am I going over here for the? Yeah. Okay. Blink. Crack this guy open. I have brushes that are so used they've been there on Horus through the Emperor. The first one from the first book. That far back. Other screen. Boop. Oh, that's not you. Still, let me look at these. Oh, this red. It's a dope base. There you go. That looks awesome. That's a very awesome pose too. He's got two knives. Sir Nerd. I know. I was honored by that. That was a very, very kind gesture. What metallic is that? Is that tainted gold? That looks dope. Dark emerald. Hmm. I think I got that. Is that an army painter one? It is. It is. Yeah, this stuff is dope, man. I remember the last thing I used it for, but I gotta use it more often. It's like a really, really cool color. I'm gonna put it out in the front row, right next to my buddy True Brass. Yeah, it's a really cool paint. All right, I'm gonna fire up a synthetic brush to see how I feel about it. Specifically synthetic one, but it's still a Winsor and Newton. You know what you should do, Sectrix, as far as brushes go, is get some Winsor and Newtons that aren't the $30 a brush series ones, because a lot of their lesser models are still really good. Meet in the middle. Yeah, freehand stuff is like, all right, save your good brushes for that. Keep them nice and clean. When I got started though, like I used like exclusively super tiny brushes. I was just like small brush guy. That's a little thick. Buster. Send that out right on the model. There we go. Yeah, I think if I do that Rhino as a Red Corsair's Rhino, it's gonna have some freehand on it. Cause I don't think I have anything big enough to actually use the symbol on the side of it. I mean, I guess I could like. I do like it when it's like raised and embossed. Not embossed. What do you call it when it's actually a raised up thing like that? Symbols raised up off of it, but I don't want to spend any more money on stuff. I'll just have to learn how to paint a fist. I do need to freehand more stuff. I'm a little bit gun shy with that, but it's never gone horribly wrong. I've always liked it. Was a size 3? Do you mean like a 3/0, or do you mean like a legit size? Like this is a 0. You mean smaller than this, or are you using a big ass brush for just getting a nice tip on it? Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you know what you're doing, you can get a good tip on a large brush. My issue with a lot of detail work is getting the brush in without knocking it around on other things. That's actually the biggest reason that I often use small brushes. Is that try to reduce fallout. But like on pauldrons that are out facing like that, absolutely, like a big brush, swizzle it around, get the right amount of paint on it. Yeah, see, speaking of fallout, I hit that knife. I don't feel great about that. Doesn't matter. It's going to be covered in silver or God knows whatever. Yeah, so much of this is just like putting your time in, getting more and more comfortable with the brush in your hand. Reps. So many reps. is this like a whole army of freehand flames? Good to know. Yeah, I killed the music because like I'm on YouTube at the same time, and I'm like, it'd be good if these just got saved for posterity. About 3,000 points. Savage, absolute savage. Duly noted, Maury. Duly noted. Congratulations, my friend, on making stuff. You should feel very, very comfortable, Maury, just bombarding me with pictures as you take them. There's no there's no embargo on that. Pictures of tiny humans are the best. Escalation League, so I want the whole thing complete by end of June. Yeah. That's a good goal. And if it was anyone else, I'd be like, good luck. But you do have quite the track record of dialing it in. She's super, super cute. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it wild? Making humans is good times. So, how does this Escalation League play out? For those of us in the class, myself included, who've never played like that, it's just like, what governs the escalation? Be awesome if I just caught you on an ad. 'Dub. Yeah, that didn't clean that at all. All right, well, that's life. You will get metallicized later, friend. 500-point games in March, 1K in April, etc. Paint competition for character tomorrow. Unit mid-April. Vehicle or monster mid-May. Overall army. Oh, so it escalates on both vectors. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's like a super league, like doing paint competition atop it. That's a great idea. I mean, gosh, if you're the store hosting that too, it's just like getting a whole league of people putting together new armies. That's brilliant. About 20 people entered. Good gosh, that's that's a lot of business. That's fantastic. That's wild. And an excellent paint scheme for that. Like, I think one of the things that's cool about that kind of league is that like your army can then become like memorable as it grows amongst different people you played against. Like you can imagine a circumstance where like, if me and a couple buddies join that league and like I leave with this story of like, oh yeah, I played this awesome army the other day. It was all like freehand flame patterns and whatever, and then like 6 weeks later, one of you ends up playing the same cool army. Like, oh yeah, I saw that. That's very cool. I mean, that is a nice thing about having a backlog of minis you already own is like you could join a league and just paint what you got. I mean, it's a good motivating way to get some of that plastic painted up. I mean, in your case, 3,000 points. That's wild. But cool. I do think what I'm going to do when I get to a decent spot with these Chaos Space Marines, I think I'm going to crack into the AdMech stuff that I've got. Speaking of things that are just lying around, I bought out a decent chunk of stuff from Grot. I got a couple little eBay deals on little bits and bobs there, here and there. I don't have enough to really field. I basically got as a combat patrol and a couple models right now. Luckily, the difference between battle ready and complete exists. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And frankly, like a league is a really good way to get a bunch of stuff up to battle ready. And once it's up to battle ready, like if you really like it, then you can like, oh, I'm going to take it a step further if you want. But you ain't gotta. And most of what I'm going for, with some exceptions with this Chaos Space Marines army, is like I want them battle ready. That's the goal. Like some of the characters will be a bit nicer. But if I get my AdMech army going, that's a very good excuse for me to buy another knight. Because they need one. they need something. Um, and I feel like painting another knight at some point. It'll be my first loyalist knight. I can learn what those ones are called. Do it some sort of red, black, gold that could be used by my sisters also. Telling you, knights are the way to not cheat, because they are a decent chunk of money and work. But I find that knights are a good way to get to 2,000 points. Just going to say it that way. And they're fun to play. Makes your opponent think about something else they probably weren't thinking about before. And I just love knights. They're fun. I should add some flow medium to this paint, or if I'm just fidgeting. There's like some spots where I've got the texture right. I think it's the prime job that I did. A little awkward priming. A little bit. Some spots this feels really smooth, and in some spots it's just struggling to stick. That's just water. There we go. Come on, boys. There we go. A little bit thicker. Thick with two C's. Look, I'm going to have to go after that other stripe again. Scooch it in. That just needs two coats. That's all right. Nothing wrong with two thin coats. It's fine. It's like painting walls. Yeah, way better on the second coat. All right. I'm just going to carry on. Keep on keeping on. All right, I got this older pauldron, I got the backpack, I got all this arm. His helmet's going to be a little bit of a pain. He's got the sword up over his head. Like, I can get in there, but I'm going to have to probably just like thin the paint out quite a bit and just sort of dab in the spots that aren't raised, and hopefully a couple passes of that and it'll find where it needs to go. This brush, though, I like it. It's a Winsor & Newton Series 233. It's synthetic. It's very nice. I dig it. Dig it. Went to the mall today. Get a dress shirt because I haven't been to a wedding or a funeral in like since I lost 30 pounds. I was like, I don't even know what my neck size is anymore. I didn't go anywhere crazy. I just went to like Men's Warehouse, but at least like could get measured for a shirt that's at least remotely fitted, if not tailored. Throwing dice in the pressure pot? What? with caps. It's exciting. Don't you understand? It's exciting. Oh God, it's a raid. I'm over on this other thing that's like checking me for multi-stream, and it doesn't send any of the events over. Be right back, throwing dice with the pressure pot. I'll respond properly. It's exciting. I don't even own a pressure pot. Or is it a pressure cooker? Is that what we're doing? Red, red, red. It is starting to flow. I mean, obviously it's flowing differently, but I might have loosened this up a little too much. So remember the second coat. Second coat matters. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that flow medium would make this paint flow differently. That's a little silly of me. All right, how am I going to finagle getting in there? Poking it like it's a tattoo gun. Or just a tattoo needle, I guess would be the case. Gently. That's not too bad. Not too shabby. Must be important. Don't mess with the pressure pot. Throwing your dice in the pressure cooker. Get some rolling sixes more often. Almost as effective as throwing them in the toilet for a bit. Like, no lack of red needing painting. What in the heck do you mean by throwing dice in the pressure pot? Very excited. Sounds wild. Sounds like a scheme of some sort. Why am I looking on eBay and for what? And from over on YouTube. Are you double dipping? Pressurized pot will basically crush any bubbles in resin. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I thought you were maybe just putting them in a pressure cooker and having them for dinner or something like that. Sweet. How many dice are you making? Is it a big batch? Started making dice at the end of my stream today and had 3 sets, so the first one was really needing to make it in there quick. Sweet. That's pretty awesome. Is there anything special about these dice, or are you just like learning the ropes, just trying to get them balanced? Let's get boots. Doing them for an art market. That art market is having issues. I'll put them on my website, maybe sell them. I don't know. Dice Goblin friends. Sweet. I will say this as far as like channel incentives and price them however it makes sense. They do quite well. I don't make my own dice because I'm not that cool yet. Uh, but I did pay Baron a dice to make dice for me, and I give some away sometimes. When people cash in an obscene number of points, and they're it's a cool thing to get from someone. So like, I don't know. I highly recommend it as a stream motivator. People are pretty psyched to get them. Seeing as I've been horribly delinquent, Moth, I gotta check. Do I owe you dice, or have you ever actually pushed that button? Because I know you got the points lying around. Did I forget to send you dice? Now I gotta ask every time. So I'm like, crap. That's another thing. By taking time off, you lose track of is your debt to society. I mean, I could look it up. I've never pushed that button. It's so strange. literally dice at your fingertips. All right, line. I think the next iteration is going to be white dice. We'll see. I like these ones a lot. I definitely like the matte finish on them instead of the shiny. I also like dice that are easy to read. Like, you see a bunch of these, and especially when you go through like Baron of Dice through their website, they're like, hey, do you want to like blend two colors of resin in like a swirl pattern and then pick some other illegible font and color for the numbers? And I'm just like, you know what, give me white on black. Make them easy to read. I don't know how I feel about these tabardy things being the same red as everything else. I'll probably wash them different just to make them stand out a little bit. And obviously, I can highlight them after the fact quite a bit, but it's one of those spots where I'm feeling a little. All right, let's tackle this guy's helmet. Get a good look at it. See where all the fun bits are. Get a little bit of water on here to thin this one pass out. All right, let's do it. Boop, boop. Kind of in there. Missing a little bit over. Boop. Yeesh. All right. And in here, it's not as bad. Okay, that's good. Still have that moment every time I pick one of these up. Like, who makes these things this small? People paint things this tiny. Whose idea was this? Yeah, it looks okay. Ye old power pack. A lot of little nooks and crannies that I gotta get in. Little water. Once again, we're just gonna like try to dab this in between those areas of trim. Boop. Let it flow where it needs to go. Get cleaned up when I hit the trim again later, but just trying to make sure my job's not too tough when I get there. Not bad. Not bad. We'll take it. Scooched a little there. That was somewhat unsafe, but that's okay. We did all right. Come on, buddy. Take it nice and slow. Go. Spin it around, look at it from some angles, ship it. The outside edge of this little vent thing. Yeah. There we go. Are you red enough? Just hit the top of this a little bit. That face right there just begs for a little bit more red before I leave. All right. Oh, I'm not done here. Ye old elbow. Sorry, Alabama is hitting murder storms tomorrow. Everybody's got weather, man. Battening down the hatches. Yeah, gotta do it. I do have enough for dice, but I don't have any terrain finish. So, Hard Shrug did snag 2 boxes. It should be good for dice rolling. I'm very excited. Sweet. One step at a time. Boarding action stuff, yeah. Terrain is definitely like, if you can, even with like a cheap one, definitely like airbrush, plow through that. Airbrush or dry brush like crazy. Especially because on terrain you got like such big features on it. I have enough dice for one faction, give or take. Good enough for right now, anyway. You, Moth, you'd be an excellent person to camp with. You're like, yeah, I don't really need to bring that with me. Nah, things are clean. We're good. Like, you handle dry brush or airbrush. Um, you handle excess well, that you don't crave it. But like I don't have any of it here. It's all outside in the barn. Um, but all the like church stuff that I did was from that Pegasus set that actually Badger turned me on to. Like most of that work was like dry brush work. Moth packs light, always. I don't need much anyway. Black coffee and cigarettes, baby. I know you can get a lot of distance with that. Send me to space. I'm ready. and willing. Close that pot. Oh, let's chill for a bit. Max and relax. My 4-year-old in her fevered state today was like, I want to play the game with the big bugs. I don't know if it was a mistake because I keep doing it. Um, but I let my kid watch me play EDF 6, which is all just like crazy insect alien warfare, guns blazing. Um, he sits in this high chair right next to me. And I just let her have the headphones. So she heard the word damn, not maybe not for the first time, but she was like, "What's that word?" I was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna go over that one." But it was pretty crazy today because like, yeah, Space Marine 3, huh? Yeah, there's no way that wasn't gonna happen, buddy. Um, she was like, "I want to watch you kill bugs." I realized I'm not quite comfortable with my Death Guard army. I should get some Plague Burst crawlers or something. You should absolutely get. What don't you have in Death Guard? And I'm not going to say like, oh, you should get it, you should get it, you should get it, but everyone should own a Plague Burst crawler. They're just cool, and they tend to like have some longevity in terms of meta. So like, they're not niche. Even though a bunch of people cried to the heavens when they weren't like indirect firing on like threes. Um, it's a very cool model. It looks good on the table. Um, and having long range indirect fire with Death Guard is a very good thing to have. I still only have one of them. I got to pick up another one at some point. Um, but it's like I I just think on the shelf it's one of the most like purely like Death Guard without body horror kind of things. Like everything else has got like meat sticking out of it. It's funny because I painted mine to look like steak, but like it's just like a legit demon engine. I think I own every character they have. 70 Poxwalkers. Nurgle bless you. A few others. A photo somewhere. A spreadsheet. That takes few. Yeah, yeah, no. I don't need to go into like that deep, but like just thinking about models that are good to have. Um, I think some models that I have found now that I've played my Death Guard a little bit more that are like, huh, it's a really good thing that I can add this to my army. Plagueburst Crawler, definitely. Um, my Fittic Blight Hauler, definitely, like, at least one. I have one of them, and I find, like, two bloat drones, one unit of each Terminator. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, bloat drones are awesome. Um, I use the Blight Hauler a little bit more. Most of my other suggestions would probably be like adjunct things. Um, Obviously, like a Night Tyrant, excellent. Um, Maybe not your style for Death Guard army, but definitely for mine. Um, the Demon Prince is actually really good. A Death Guard, a Nurgle Demon Prince in a Death Guard army is really good. Nurglings, really good. The Demon Prince moves really fast and is like a very significant threat. Having a knight in there is really good because you could just like grind the heck out of it. Um, and depending on like if you want something faster than like to get up front quick, then you can grab like a rampager, blight haulers, and it's a good little tank hunter. It's got a nice low profile. Um, it's a cute little model, a very cute little model. It's I think it's one of the neatest like dreadnought-ish sized small vehicle things. Um, Dreadnought-ish sized. But yeah, blight haulers are good, and they're a little bit speedy relative to the rest of the crew. But I would absolutely like. Do you have already just Nurglings lying around from like a demon army? Because they're absolutely fantastic addition because they infiltrate. They also give -1 to hit, um, which does pair with um, one of the Death Guard contingents is -1 to ballistic skill and weapon skill, and it does pair with that. I think the Nurglings might only give you -1 to hit in melee, but still, like if you've got contagion range on someone, it really f's them up bad. But even just to like plop 3 Nurglings, infiltrate with them, and just gum up a spot. The only thing you got to remember is they have no OC, so they're not going to like steal anything for you. But in terms of gumming up the works, they got like 4 wounds each. They uh they definitely cause some havoc, and they're really good into just like deep strike behind someone to make their life heck. Just like get stuck in and miraculously stick around way longer than they have any business to. Like world leaders will shred them, but a lot of armies have struggles with them because the -1 to hit and how beefy they are. And like for cheap, for like 3 models having 12 wounds, yee. I think I'm going to go back to washing and I'll wash this dude. Did I get everything on here? Yeah, just about. Just about. That's Balthazar Gold. That is not wash. Of course, the Lord of Poxes is coming out, I think, in a couple weeks. That is definitely a model to keep an eye on. Like, I'm hoping he's actually a leader for Poxwalkers. Be nice. I don't think his data sheet's been leaked at all, has it? I'm super curious about that bloke. Typhus can. He's actually a really good leader for Poxwalkers. I should put some red on that gun at some point. Not tonight. And I might pin wash something bright in that octet symbol. It's deep. But your point is well made, Sector X. Your point is well made. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Badab. I'm very excited right now in Tacticus. The Plague Burst Crawler is getting added as a vehicle, as a support vehicle. I'm so psyched. I don't even care if it sucks. I'm going to end up dropping money on it. I'm using a Forge Fiend with my Death Guard, and the Forge Fiend's nice in the mobile game, but not the same. It's had a lot of updates, that Space Marine game. I haven't touched it since probably like I think the last person I played with was probably Moth. Oh, I missed the spot. Dummy. Guess I am gonna get this gun right now. What's changed? Can't list it all. Just more stuff, more missions, more cosmetics. I'm sure. That is, they're definitely just like leaning into what worked. I mean, their roadmap was all that too. So like that, it's not surprising to me at all. Like their original roadmap was just like, hey, in a few months we'll have these cosmetics and this, but like when you make that much money, you can just like double down on it. Oh, they added the Biovore? Yeah. Biovore's cool. And utterly annoying on the tabletop in a good way. I love units like that that just like it's not really a chess unit per se, but like it is a planned spoiler unit. At least if I'm thinking of the right one. It's the one that spits out those little drony things, right? I should probably just focus on the things I have for now. If you were going to get one thing, I would say the Plague Burst Crawler is the thing to get. Like, I think that one probably would potentially change how to give you more options on the table a bit. Um, it's like a definite threat and allows you to hit stuff on the table long before the rest of your army gets there. And people just overcompensate for it. Like it's not that much of a threat. I mean, if it rolls well, yeah, it screws things up, especially like mobs of little dudes. But People just get lulled into a sense that like they're not really going to get stuck in with Death Guard till like turn 3, and it's like, I got a beat on you. Oh yeah, I forgot whole sections of this thing. 2 brushes in hand. So much for process. Oh yeah, whole chunks of this I forgot to do. I should put the other brush down. That would be smart. Let's do that. Let's be smart for once. Give it a shot. Need more paint. I also found that plague burst crawlers and myphitic blight haulers specifically were pretty eBay friendly in terms of finding them. Like I've routinely thought about like, I could always use another one. And every time I've looked, I've been able to find some up there for a pretty decent price. Just a resale or that's better. Small ones are new for $25.50. Yeah, it's very doable. Gotta get this spike center. There we go. Then I'll dry brush those with something metallic. Just hit the tips of them and it'll look sweet. All right, folks. It be 12:30. I'm going to peace out for the night. I've got a good chunk done on these. And there's about 5 guys here that pretty close. 6. 6 that are pretty close to start getting some metallics on them. I gotta hit the hay because I'm old. And I value sleep again. Yeah, Badger. It's good chatting with you too. If I'm lucky, I'll be on again hopefully tomorrow night. I don't have much booked. Um, hey, thanks, Sharp. And might be a little late next week. My sister's going to be in town. Maybe she'll just hang out and sit in the high chair while I go live. Anyhow, thanks a bunch. It has been dope. I'm going to hit the end stream button, and we will catch you next time. I don't know how to raid out from dual streaming, so I can't.